Hey everybody, it is Marshall from Marshall's Miniatures here. Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to go in depth and show you how to paint the Halo ODST troopers from Halo Flashpoint. So you want to start off by priming the miniatures black. Obviously I've already done that. After that we're going to get some Skaven Blight Dinge. You're going to want to get a dry brush and we're just going to put that on top of the armour. Just all over the miniature like so. Obviously ODSTs have black armour and you can do different colours if you so choose. But I'm going to do black. I'm just going to dry brush with the Skaven Blight. We're just going to get a nice even coverage all over the model. Just like so. Alright everyone, for your next step you want to get Mechanicus Standard Grey and the smallest dry brush that you own. Now what I'm using an Artist Opus. Now what you're going to do is you've got cloth sections above the knees, below the waist, and from the elbow joint to the start of here. And you're just going to pattern a bit of paint, as you so choose, onto the areas, just like so. And the reason I suggested a small dry brush is because obviously it's a camo pattern, and you're just picking where you want your bits of camo to go. Try not to touch the joint in the middle there. Yeah. Just gonna slap some paint on. Obviously you can get his arse a bit as well if you'd like. He's got a bit back there. Make sure to get underside of his arm, the top of his arm, his glove. And just sort the zoom out so you can see. I'll just give you another quick rundown since the camera was not the best there. So it's just his arms, his legs. Just adding some more colour for the camo. Up next, you're going to get some Dawnstone and still using the world's tiniest dry brush. I'm just going to start patterning it where we did with the Mechanicus. And it's going to make some sort of camo pattern. And obviously these are going to be Urban Warfare ODSTs. So, greys are their camo. I know I'm knackered in this brush out, I barely used it as well. And so you got your arms and your gloves. I need just a bit more grey. Take it off my brush. And get into these joints here. And just like so. Up next we've got the visor. We're going to start by using Calgar Blue. You're going to need to get a relatively small brush for this. And you might need a couple of layers. I've put too much on there, that's fine, we can spread it around. Just like so. This takes a lot of concentration. And you can see we've put a first layer on, and I believe we might need a second layer. So what we'll do is we'll get a bit more Calgar Blue. I'm taking it off my brush. I'm just going to put a small second layer on, just like so. And then once you're satisfied with that, you're going to get some Lothering Blue for your next step. You're going to want to take most of it off your brush, starting from the middle and going outwards. You don't want to put it on the entirety of the visor. You're just going to get about half of it, keeping the Calgar blue in the recesses. Just like so. Up next, we've got the weapons, and for this you're going to want to get Black Templar. It's a contrast paint, and with the exception of the flamethrowers, there's one there, there's one back there, you're going to want to wash the weapons in Black Templar. Make sure you don't get any on the armour. Okay everyone, and for our next step we're going to get some grey sear. This will be the last bit for the armour, and we're going to start catching the raised edges. So this is going to take a lot of focus. Let's move ours out of the way. So the top of the shoulder pads. Look at that bit as well. You got some on the backpack. You just want to be very careful, you don't want to put too much on, or it will take your eye away from the black armour, which is not what we want to do. And I'm very sorry, I'm just concentrating to make sure we get this looking as nice as possible. We're going to do a bit on the helmet rim. Bit there. We're going to keep the little belt bags and all that. We're going to keep them black, obviously, because ODST armor is black itself. And you know, if you're wearing black armor, then obviously that black armor is your camo in a sense. You don't want a bright green ammo pouch. I'm whispering now, I'm very sorry. Yeah, you just want to start picking up your raised edges. Right, and up next we're going to start by doing our, obviously, the specialists. So the Halo Flashpoint game, obviously it says there's white, green, red, blue, purple, orange, yellow. So I've decided that we're going to do the bullfrog, sorry, we're going to do yellow. Yeah, we'll do them yellow. they'll be our lower ranks, so we'll do them white. We'll do the 2 captains, red, blue, and orange. So for our lieutenants, which are the ones we're going to do first, they're going to have blue. So we're going to get some Regal blue from Army Painter, or you can use any colour matched blue. So Cantor blue would be a good one. And let me just change the zoom so I can show you. So we don't want to get that little bit on the chest there, and we don't really want to get it on the insignia. So you're going to get a small brush, and we're just going to coat that very nicely onto that chest piece, just like so. If we do catch the insignia, that's fine, because we'll just go back over it with white. And see, we've got the chest piece. It's a nice coat of blue on there. And then what you also want to do is he's got a middle stripe up here. So make sure you don't have too much on your brush. And you're just gonna be very careful. I'm gonna pick out this middle crevice. Not crevice, this middle line. There we go, that'll be a better word. And you're just going to get that like so. Next we're going to get some ultramarine blue from Army Painter, or Macragge blue if you're using Citadel. I think for this one I'll even include the paints we need for the miniature in the description. You just want to stipple some blue into there. And obviously make it look a bit warm. Use your finger if you need to. Just like so. And obviously you don't want too much, or you'll overdo it. And that's not what we want. There's a gradual build up of the colour. Obviously we're picking out these edges. There's a bit there. That's not actually an edge, but we're just putting some more colour on there. Because if it were just a flat colour, that'd be quite boring. Finally, you want to get some Cargo blue. This is mainly for the edges. I've got edge up there. I'm going to be very gentle with my brush. An edge up there. Got the ones there. And got a bit just at the tippity top of his head. Right, next we're going to do the special issue troopers, special purpose troopers. No, special purpose, that's it, special issue troopers. Right, we're going to start with Dark Reaper. And obviously that's going to go on the chest there, very gently. And then you've got your bit up here. Just like so. You just want to be very careful, you don't want to go over the lines if you can help it. Next we're going to get some Dawnstone, and just like we did before, this is going to be more of our raised edges. With the Dawnstone you can be a bit more generous since it is grey for the special. It's a bit watery actually. But yeah, since it is actually primarily grey, you can be more generous. So obviously you're just going to get the top of his head, and he's not got a lot here. We can put some grey on. Just going to put it on very carefully. So yeah, we've just had to chuck an extra coating on. With it being a bit watery, you can chuck a bit more on just to get it nice and in there. You want it to be quite prominent, just like so. And finally, we're going to get some grease here. You don't want too much, just like usual. And this is just going to be for the tippity tops. And then the chest rig, let's pick up another one. Up next for the Flamethrower troopers, you want to get some dark orange. I've got dark, medium and light orange from AK Interactive. Obviously we're going to do the same again. You want to get the slit on the helmet. This one will take a couple of coats with how thin orange is. So you tip top on the helmet, and then you just want to pick out the chest. Next, you want to get your medium orange. I'm not sure what the Citadel difference would be. You're gonna apply this one a bit more liberally than you would the others, because orange is not the best at coverage. So you're just gonna obviously do that quite nicely. You could cover that entire thing if you wanted. Next we've got our air assault troops. I'm going to start with some Dragon Red from Army Painter, and we're going to do it differently this time. They've got special shoulder pads. We're going to get just the tippity tip here of the shoulder pad, and we're going to get this top bit just like so. This is going to take a couple of coats. Obviously you're going to get the usual between his head, as well as his chest. Next we're going to get some Red Team Red, which is a Halo Flashpoint Army Painter paint itself. This is going to cover quite nicely over, obviously, the Dragon Red. And obviously you're going to leave bits of your Dragon Red in the shadows, such as where that shadow is there. It just makes a nice base. Well, technically we could have done the Red Team Red first, but I found the Dragon Red was a bit darker than I thought it might have looked a bit nicer underneath in the shadows. It will just be the same as usual for the ODSTs. Obviously I'll have to show you how to do the base, and we'll have to go back through, do the knives and all of that nice stuff. Just applying it quite nicely. Ah yes, Campaign Evolved came out on Game Pass today as well. And finally, for the captains, we're going to get some Death Corps Drab. And yeah, the captains, I just want them to be dark green. Like, why not? Probably get some Death Guard green after and just tickle that on there. Maybe some Death World Forest. And obviously same as last time. Like, the way I see it is they're a captain. So if they're a captain and obviously they're on the field, you don't want to make it obvious like, government, banished, look, it is captain. We must kill him. That's how I see it anyways. Yeah, we're just going to get the shoulder plates and the chest plates. So we're going to do a stripe here. We're not going to do the top bit because I've got to differentiate it a bit. Yeah, nice little stripe. And then finally we're going to get some Death World Forest, and that's going to be our paint we put just on the raised areas. Next, get some Gracia, and every UNSC symbol you can see, we're just going to chuck a bit of Gracia on that. Just like so. To finish off the weapons, you want to get the tiniest bit of rust grey on a dry brush, and you're just going to get that on there, and that'll just add a bit more colour as opposed to it being just black. Don't bother about the underside, obviously there's no light there. Give the backpack a little tickle if you'd like as well. We're going to make sure we get the flamethrower as well, but the flamethrower ones are not done yet. However, the other ones will be. And while we're here, we're also going to do the knives and dry brush those with rust grey. Just while we're doing the weapons, of course. And finally, for the bases, we're going to dry brush rust grey all over it. Next, you're going to wash any dirt areas with Mornfang Brown. Well, you're not going to wash it, you can dry brush it. You don't need to be super neat with this. And you just want to slap it on there. Find another one. Obviously, this guy's got some rocks here. Just going to chuck that on there. Then chuck that behind him, just like so. And there you have it, everyone. And that is how you paint the Halo ODST squads from Halo Flashpoint. If this has helped you at all, I hope you'll give me a like, a follow, a subscribe, and I hope you all had a good day, and take care.